Well, okay, just to remind you once again so that you memorize the face. And this beautiful lady from Latvia, she thinks that the more Russians, it would be Russian language, Latvian language would benefit. The more Russians would die, it would be better for the language. This is the leading party of Latvia. Everything is it's a mainstream of the Russophobic mainstream to the Russian language. This is a trend. This is a long by EU drug missile Zadek was shown, and we are so lenient and pleasant, and we don't crack down on them. And only one person is so much displeased with that, Mr. Solovyev, me. Oh, okay, okay. If for everybody it's okay, it's just the way it should be. Why do you have to speak the way? It's fine. It's everything. Okay, you can act like that. The hatred toward Russians is fine. It's quite natural because they always they've got to lecture us, teach us because we are savages. Because we are savages. Okay, let's say that directly, openly. LGBT activist. The more Russians die, the better it is. And we see that. We have the footage. Do we have the footage? Those who patrolled and then they fled to Ukraine. Did anybody respond and crack down on him against the Ukrainian Russophobic songs? Did Europe see that? Did Europe catch that? That up to now in the Baltic states exists some non-citizen states, status of non-citizens, but they don't care. They don't give a shit. These are the Russians, Russian speakers, and we are not people. We are something like the Untermensch or the underdogs, underprivileged. Eh, And did the United States raise an eyebrow? And they don't care. They don't care about the human rights, about the Russians. Okay, they care the LGBT rights. It's fine. It's okay. Oh, the LGBT rights. We've got to protect the LGBT rights, of course. Okay, go with that. Okay, what about the victory banner? Okay, by the way, just have a look. And Selmer, she's a lady. She's quite against the rewriting the history. Okay, and now they texted me. Okay, I will show you that here. I will resend that on the Telegram channel. Okay, here it is. Just have a look. This is Selma, and we are against the rewriting the history. And she's against the background of the Russian embassy. And I wonder, which sort of history are we rewriting? And we understand if we go into the details, it would be clear. Okay, we can mock the Russians. Okay, you'll have a photograph here, and I'm fast forward. Would like to ask for apologies. Okay, just have a look. This is the victory banner, which has been taken upon the Reichstag. Do I have to comment on that? I will explain for our radio listeners. This is erecting the banner of the victory, but instead of the banner of the victory, we erect this kind of the multicolored rainbow flag on the Reichstag. How do you like that? This is a Danish artist. He has represented his works. There's something like the rainbow color warrior. Other of his works were represented with swastika, etc. They were not allowed. They were banned from the cultural center. This is he protested what is generally considered to be a taboo on gay activism, etc. How do you like that? Do you feel pleased with that? Okay, well, that's really great. Awesome. Where was that? It was in Warsaw, in a cultural center, the Warsaw Center of Contemporary Art. Okay, isn't that okay? Isn't that pleasant? The great victory is there, and this LGBT activist demands to stop rewriting the history, but she demands to perish all the Russians to benefit the survival of Latvian language. If she said the same instead of the Russians about the homosexualists, how would that be taken? If she had said Afro-Americans, how that would be taken? If she said she really thought what she meant, for example, Jews, should I remind her about the role of the Latvian Nazi battalions on annihilation of Jews? Shall I remind that? What? What's the reason? There is no reason behind that. Perhaps there would be some introduced American sanctions. There would be some. The Magnitsky List would be introduced here. This is the human rights violation. These the Russians are not no violation of the rights of the Russians. It's fine. It's okay. It's okay, Mr. Biden. Yes, it's quite natural. It's fine. Is it not like that, Mr. Borrell? Why do we have to mar relations? And the Euro Commissioner is the person. When it's about the Russians, why do we have to mar and to damage our relationship? When it has to be all about the russophobia, and we've got to say to expel them, just fuck hell out of our country. When you just mock Russia, when you call Russia a Nazi country, we've got to fuck you out of our country. And the Euro protectors say, oh, okay, you shouldn't expel her out of our country. It's a sheer. It's absolutely unbearable. What are you talking about? You have to tolerate that. You have to tolerate that and stay her, leave her stay in our country safe. When do you remember the case when a lady was parted with her family, and she was a Navalny activist? They arrived here in our country, and they were divided with his family, and then sought some protection, etc. Okay, how do you take that? Is it fine? Is it okay? This kind of the russophobic scumbags. They are just pretending to be independent journalists. Why do we have to tolerate them, to keep them stay here in our country? And he'll write, the open symbolic open quote has back the idea of establishing a position of a director on his upbringing of kids. A person from St. Petersburg with a 50-year-old backyard mindset, how does it dare to do such a thing? We are dealing with a person who has no social media account. Do you think he can understand the language the youngsters speak today? Russia is a diverse country. Youngsters won't understand a single word spoken by President sleek, the red tie wearing person. Putin is quite detached from the events that are unfolding in Russia. It would be suffice for the people from far-flung areas to push a wave, to raise everything on their way, to get things going. It would be enough for Putin to stay longer in their bunker away from the events that are unfolding in our country. End quote. Well, Tsimbaluk, we've got to fuck you out of our country. We've got to expel you, to throw you out of our country. We've got to strip you out of credentials in 24/7 with your kids, all the family, and fuck hell out of our country. Okay, yeah, just fuck you out of our country, you a dirty asshole and scumbag. You are a supporter of Bandera and all that shit, and no credentials. We've got to expel them out of our country. To hell with that. There should be no Tsimbaluk in Russia, you know? No Tsimbaluk. Do you want to? Are you fishing for revolution in Russia? Fuck out of our country, to your broken and poor country, a country which was once part of the great empire. Just go and visit your Nazi protectors, and you can speak your language with your dirty and broken, decaying teeth. You can hang out with them, rub sides with them, with Bandera scumbags and assholes. Why do we tolerate that? Why do we tolerate that? With these scumbags, these assholes led to come in our country. We don't have to do that. He's a foreign agent. He's a foreign agent. Okay. And then is there a Russian journalist who does something like that with those kind of activities? Why don't we expel them? Why we allow this kind of scumbags and douchebag assholes? Can you explain me what is it doing here? What's the reason of him in Russia? No, we shouldn't let that go that way. And the main, where do they, which kind of the radio stations these kind of the shit eaters visit? What does this kind of a bozo do in our country? Are we going to tolerate that long? Putting up with that? Why do we put up this comeback, earn a wage, criticizing with the Russophobic stance in Russia? To begin with, why we won't do this the simplest? To strip him of his Russian credentials. Why we don't do that? What's the reason behind that? Why we won't strip him out of his credentials? We are too lenient on russophobia. We are not cracking down. We promote. We let that happen. We let them mock our country. We don't defend our country, our history. We let the existence, this kind of the untrustworthy of the activity of Eco Moscow radio station. Just have a look what he says about shit eating. This kind of a scumbag, untrustworthy, unreliable, cheap, and he's funded by Gusinski, and he's revolting. And just have a look against his background. It's not just the magazine cover. It's the magazine cover which is the continuation of the anti-Soviet stance and anti-Russian rhetoric, propaganda. He's happy to demonstrate that untrustworthy, unreliable propaganda, and he thinks it's okay. And where does he take money to publish these kind of the magazines? He takes money from Gazprom against his own managers and his co-workers, asking for sanctions against Gazprom and the Karamuza, who is a British citizen. What is he doing in Russia? That we've got to expel them. He asked them to come to Radio Eco Moscow and speak there. They are all those whistleblowers who has reported on Mr. Symes, and there was a lawsuit. He's a sheer scumbag. He just come back. And Sergeyenko, there was a court case and he lost, and the court case and the court, all the Russophobic scumbags, he collects them to Radio Eco of Moscow, and he's bringing a lot of fake news, and he collects all those kind of the scumbags into his radio station to speak against Russia. Why do we have to put some claims? The Russophobia is quite high on the rise in media. If you want to be famous, and if the candidate running for president under the banners, under the portrait, she's a staunch supporter of monarchy, and Sobchak, Mrs. Sobchak, who she was happy under the portrait of Bandera, and she had the footage. I will shit my pants for Russia. You are deep down, neck deep in sheep, the Russophobic scumbag asshole. But we think that it's quite funny when she's running for the president, and we've got to treat her well, like we've got to be respectful, like a political activist. She's a crab trading queen, and she's quite close to the empress of the Romanovs dynasty. It's everything is allowed. It's fine. It's fine. You can insult Russians, our history, now the banner of victory banner. Okay, you shouldn't say anything negative about, you can't say black. You've got to ban the word nigger. It's with a bad connotation. God forbid you say anything about homosexualists, because it's also a bad word. You've got to say LGBT activist, Then it would be okay. Then it would be fine. When you say the Russians, a lot of Russophobic, insultful things, when you say Rus, when it's so much insulting about Russians, it's okay. I'll shit my pants for Russians. It's okay. When there is too much shitty things being said about Russians, it's really okay. It's okay. It would be really fine. You start momentarily. You start feeling fine. It's something like the like a dream when the Russia is perished. Do you remember when the Russians are perished? And there is no Russia, everybody would feel so happy. This kind of the russophobic, and this she's an aide to a deputy aide at the Latvian parliament. Did Europe wag a finger to criticize that? Did Russia defend itself? No. Did Russia file file a court case? No. Nobody noticed that. Nobody paid a heed. And we won't start acting until we are neck deep in shit. We start drowning shit. We won't act. And what it has to do with Sobchak, who says, "I will shit my pants for Russians." Okay, we've got to stop when our stand-up comedians just shit our country. We've got to stop that. We've got to be over with that. Thanks for watching.